Okay, let's go.
Hello there, Chick Chatters. We're back with Teen Mom episode 9. And before we even get started, I got my wisdom teeth out literally like 3 days ago at this point of filming. So Brooke's going to be carrying us most of this episode.
And the trooper for even being present.
Yeah, that's why I look like this. That's why if my mouth looks a little bit swollen, if you see a bruise on my face or something, it's because the doctors beat my ass. Still
Every
struggling.
time you smile, you look like you're in pain. I feel bad for you.
I know. I'm feeling like Kourtney Kardashian when she got her face numbed and she was like, that's me. But I'm here and I watched this damn episode. So I'm here to talk about it.
Let's chat.
Yeah. We started the episode right where we left off. Kiaya and Leah are still arguing. I love how they do this thing where they bait us with this fight, but then the next episode, it's only like a 2-second thing and everybody goes to bed. And it's like, stop doing this to me. Stop.
Everything that was said in the last episode. They just kind of repeated it and acted like more was going to happen. Nothing else happened. Everyone went to bed and then everybody woke up. And we didn't even get a word of the day. So
no.
What a dumb morning.
The only thing we got from Tyler actually was a little counseling session between him and Kiaya, and she really appreciated it. I mean, this man's been through so much therapy. Like, he is a therapist.
I think if he didn't need the money because he's on Teen Mom and OnlyFans and, whatever else side hustle they got going on, I think he'd be a great therapist.
I think that had he not ever joined Teen Mom, maybe he would even be a therapist.
I also think Teen Mom helped him get a lot of resources to deal with his trauma that I don't know if he'd be where he is today. In a lot of ways without Teen Mom, like good and bad and in between, but I don't know.
The next morning, we get to see groggy Leah waking up. Cheyenne is excited to see her because apparently Cheyenne was the one helping her with her titties out and trying to get her to go to bed. And Leah doesn't remember a damn thing, but Cheyenne and me were on the same page. She's like, listen, I never see Leah as a mess, but I want her to keep drinking. I want it to keep going.
I love it. They're here to spice things up. That's why they came mid or like almost end of the season, because it gets a little bit boring. I'm glad that they came in and they did the couple stuff and the therapy and things like that with all the couples, but we haven't seen a lot of that even go on in a while, a lot of group workshops or anything like that. So it's time to bring some drama or something else to watch. It's starting to become more of Teen Mom meets the real world house, where they kind of just hang out and go out with each other and get to know each other, which is fine. I love both shows, so I'm enjoying this weird little mix, but we need the single people.
I was living for Leah's messiness. Leah messiness.
Leah messing everything up. Although I will say though, I respect Kiaya a lot more because she's being really mature about the whole situation. Even when she's talking to Tyler and she's reflecting while she's working out with the guys and things like that, she's still talking about how she's open. She does think what happened was not okay. She wants to have a conversation about it, but she's not really trying to argue anymore about it. She never was really trying to argue. She's just not about to have an adult tell her to go to bed. And I think that was a whole mix up. Anyways, poor Kayla got all mixed up into that. That's something I would have said. Let's all trick her into thinking we're going to bed. Just got miscommunicated.
All out of hand. I think them guys were trying to instigate some drama or something too, because they're like, she owes you an apology. Dean, mind you, who's like overhearing these episodes, he don't even really watch Shima, but he overheard this episode. He's like, she didn't even really do nothing. She was just drunk and doesn't remember. She don't owe nobody a huge apology. If anything, she just needs to say, like, hey, sorry I ruined your time. Didn't mean to be that way. That's it. It's not that deep. And I was like,
yeah. I really doubt that Leah remembers anything either. I don't think that that's a very good excuse to be using all the time, but honestly, in this situation, it's not like anything that deep really happened that you need anything more than I was drunk. Maybe you could have said, I'm sure that I acted out of character because I can tell you're angry with me. Maybe you could have let Kiaya tell you a little bit about what happened before you fake apologize. So it seems more genuine, but
I did agree with Zach that her laughing during the apology wasn't really it. I do think that she could have said a little bit more, but I also don't think it was that serious. So I'm kind of like in between where, I think she should have been like, oh my gosh, I never act like that. And I'm so sorry. Because she never does act like that. How often we've been watching Teen Mom, she ain't acting like that.
She is messy all the time, so I'm not surprised at the way She drank too much. I'm not surprised of all the individual things, but the fact that it all happened at one time, we don't get to see that a lot. But then again, we do see their lives in such small portions these days. And whenever we see Leah, she's only giving her girls as a pep talk. So we don't ever
About
get to see her
boobs.
in the party life.
I'll give her that one. I just feel like that was something that was going to be dragged along the whole episode. Just like took episodes for Cheyenne and Mackenzie to get over things, and now I'm going to have to go through episodes of this. Well, thank God I don't. But
Yeah. I'm glad.
yeah, then we actually see Mackenzie. She's running on the beach. If you didn't know what was going on in her head with her mom, you would think she's lost her mind. She's laying in the sand, just doing crazy
Taking
things.
in her mother's soul, which is
Yeah,
so precious. But
it
yes,
was.
you're right. From the outside perspective, I mean, who cares? It's nobody's business. But if you were just an onlooker walking down the beach that day, I love mom, and this girl's just out of breath, sweating.
Yeah, if you were just somebody chilling in Colombia on this beach this day, this might have been concerning seeing this random white girl doing all this. And on top
Totally.
of then Caitlin looks also concerned coming outside, like, you good?
Mhm.
Which they
I
had a
know.
nice conversation. I guess it inspired Caitlin to work on things with April, but I guess we'll see how that goes.
I think that's gonna always be an ongoing back and
Thing.
forth between them. Kate has the right to feel the way she does. The girl perceives herself as a parent, so she has the right to feel the way she does and to feel like she doesn't have to do anything to change. So I don't know. It's just their relationship, I think, will always be messy, but I give both of them props for being open to always trying, even when they
Mhm.
take time away.
Right. And Mackenzie did make a couple comments about her mom. If I remember right, it was hard to watch that last season she was in because of all the stuff with her mom. It was just so hard to watch. I do feel for her completely. I couldn't imagine going through that. I don't understand though why she doesn't remember her mom is why she stayed with Josh so long. She's
Mhm.
like, I don't want my mom to, like the last thing my mom knew I was going to be with Josh forever. And it's like, she wanted you to. She was kind of pushing you to, even though it wasn't healthy for you because of religious reasons, which totally understandable. But at the same time, I'm not sure. But whatever. I would hope that her mom would have come to terms with the fact that this marriage did not work and that
Mhm.
this guy is not right for her. And I'd hope that she would see the guy she's with now and be like, oh, yes, he treats her good. He treats her the
Mhm.
way that I would want my daughter to be treated.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like this guy for Mackenzie.
I love Casanio. He's so cool. But
Yeah.
no, I agree. I think all of that does exist. We just don't get the opportunity to see it because I think there is more context there. Obviously, we can't speak for Mackenzie's mom, but she was a very forgiving and loving and graceful person,
Mhm.
Mackenzie said. So I think she would definitely be open to whatever's going on. I wonder if what Mackenzie means about being sad that her mom would always see her with Josh is because that is who she married. And according to her mom's values, that is who she has to stay with. So she's going to always support her marriage, even if she doesn't think it's the best thing for her daughter. So I wonder if there was some grief around that for her mom that just wasn't out there for the world to see.
Mhm.
I mean, there just had to have been. So I think her mom would ultimately be accepting. But yeah, they were a very strongly religious family. So I don't know.
I feel like I've heard her dad's not doing that great either. So Mackenzie's really gone through it with her parents and their health and everything. So it was nice to see Caitlin kind of go and reach out to her while she was having this moment in the sand. As little kooky as it looked for the rest of the world with no context. But
Yeah.
then, of course, Mackenzie walks in and one of the therapists are looking for her. And she's at first pretty like, oh, snap. And at first I thought this was because whatever happened with Cheyenne. She's like, oh, no, another lady. Like, I don't need to talk about this again. But then she was nervous just because she had already had this emotional conversation with Caitlin. So she wasn't ready to go into another emotional conversation. But their therapy was like smooth as butter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even have much to say about it other than it's really nice to see that this guy lets her be herself. It was kind of hard to hear her talk about how Josh wouldn't let her dance, Josh wouldn't let her listen to music. I'm like, girl, what? But then again,
Mhm.
in my last relationship, I wasn't allowed to drink out of straws. So I can understand where somebody has some dumb rules for you for no reason.
And just for the record, nobody should ever have to follow those dumb rules. And also, please, if you are watching our teen mom videos and you have not watched our story of the week videos, please watch our last video to also refer to a dumb rule and what it results in people having to do. What is
Yeah.
the title of it?
Didn't tell my wife about the poo rag, pretty much.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's a must watch.
It's a good one. My ex told me I couldn't drink out of straws. I'd have to always like take the, and even right now with my wisdom teeth, I'm like, I should be used to this because my ex never let me drink out of straws. Dean's always been like, I don't get that.
I don't get that either. That's the thing. If there's no logic, no, I can't stand behind it.
It's like a control thing, I think, maybe. I don't know, but
That's why I can't stand behind it. You need to either tell me why, and it needs to be touching your soul for me to do something that's irrational like that, okay? And even then, I might just tell you to go to therapy.
yeah. I used to just equate it in my head, like maybe he gives a about the sea lions and the otters and shit like that. But I don't think that that's the actual case. It's just something I told myself. So.
That's probably the only acceptable thing. If that was the response, I would be like, okay, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but this is something I have to do myself.
Yeah. That was somebody who did not let me be myself either. I couldn't, y'all, I might get into this one day, but even on my birthday, I wasn't allowed to say hello to people. I was told I was being a celebrity when it was my damn party. I'm trying to say hello to everybody. And he's like, oh, you're going up to everybody like you're a celebrity. And he threw all my chocolates in the streets. And you know what? I ate them shits anyway.
Yep. We gathered them together, put them back in the bag. He said, we're going to go sit in my bed and eat these chocolates.
And we did. I got a new hoodie that day from your mom, from the prison. It was a day. Yes. But don't let people dim your light. So I'm with you, Mackenzie. This guy lets you live your best life. And we see that actually in one of the next scenes. They do a bachelorette party for Jade and Sean because their wedding's coming up. And these people are crazy and they're on vacation right now instead of being at home with their child and planning for their wedding. But, you know, whatever they want to do.
Jade said earlier in the episode, because Brie was kind of asking the same thing, although she didn't, at least on camera, ask about their child, but she was like, how are you even okay right now? And Jade's just like, at this point, whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. As long as your dress is ready, your clothes are ready, everything's in order. Whatever happens, happens.
It's already $45,000 over budget. Whatever happens does happen, bitch.
It does, because we're not spending any more money, okay? Whatever printed is printed. I don't care if it's wrong.
Yep, and she's had like weeks to recover in bed. It looks like I mean, not literal weeks, but she's had days in bed of being sick. So that's how she's making it through right now, Brianna. You just haven't seen that.
Yeah, she probably was in there communicating, doing some things. She has to have a really good wedding planner or coordinator if she's paying this much money for her wedding. I got to imagine that's part of the big part of her budget, even though they're not super expensive, but popular ones are.
I'm sure. So Cheyenne, the event planner of the group, decides to do this party. It's a burlesque party for everybody to go to. It looked really fun. Mackenzie's having her whole, like you called it, her Kim Kardashian wig moment from the early seasons where she's got this pink wig on and she's just feeling herself. She looks crazy, but she is feeling herself. And Cassano is
like doing some things, but she loves it. Yeah, it is not even close to properly set, not even tried, but it's okay. It's fine. We're just at the bar having a good time. Do you know what's so funny though is later on, she starts dancing on the stage and somebody pulls her up on stage and Corey looks at Cassandra when she's up on stage or when she comes down and he's like, you gotta keep that wig. She likes that wig. Oh my God, Corey.
Oh, you're right. Corey is always funny to me, though.
She likes that wig.
She does like that wig. She was feeling herself all up in that wig. She danced till that wig fell off her head and she still kept putting it back on all sloppy. She loved that wig.
I know. She was so cute. Honestly, it was really nice to see her, the music hit her soul, as she has said a couple of times. I get what she means now. And Cassandra was so cute and supportive. And I think before this happened, I'm not sure exactly the order of events, but part of what happened in their little couples therapy thing was they did talk about having some jealousy and explosive arguments and stuff because Mackenzie's afraid to lose him. And conveniently, some woman starts dancing with Cassandra at the bar. So she gets a chance to show off her skills too of being chill and zen.
So here to show my man that I can let him be loose and wild too.
I love that for you. This is so good. You have to say Cassandra lets his woman be free.
Yeah, and this is when I found out that she calls him Cass or something, so I might start calling him
Yes.
Cass. Her dancing and all these people getting involved sparked up a threesome conversation between Cheyenne, Brianna, Zach. At
Mhm.
first, I thought they were propositioning Brianna for a threesome. I was like,
I
is
did
this
too.
it comes out that Cheyenne is okay with the threesome as long as they're in another country and they don't really know the person. I know they know Brianna, but they're also in the same sense like, well, we're in Colombia and whatever happens in Colombia stays in Colombia. And I'm like, Cheyenne, you're a better woman than me because I cannot share. So I don't care what country I'm in. I don't care. I cannot share. I know this is probably partially for her too, but it's still weird. And then Brianna's like, well, I've had a threesome. And I'm like, are you volunteering? Like,
I know, I couldn't get the insinuation if it was legit or if it was just kind of being funny and flirty or whatever. Because Brianna's definitely in her flirty era, so,
yeah,
yeah.
she seemed real down for a threesome. And then these two guys appeared out of nowhere. I think these guys overheard this conversation too. I don't know if it was
You think?
editing
I don't
or
know.
what. It looked to me like they heard because it was right during this conversation. They started
Well,
going off
and
and
Brianna is loud, you know, and she probably was just screaming in the middle of the bar, "Are you
Mhm.
gonna do a threesome? I had a threesome."
Yeah, and then these guys come out of nowhere and are sandwiching her. Like,
Yeah,
girl,
that's
bless.
basically another threesome if you guys had your clothes off.
And she seemed like she wanted a threesome that night as well. Brianna made a couple of weird comments. So I'm like, are you going to bring these two guys home or are you going home with Cheyenne and Zach? I don't know what's going on with you. Oh, you
Yeah,
just
she
got
came.
here. She's like, I ain't having any luck with these American guys. So I'm coming to Colombia. I'm going to,
Mhm.
get my D wet. I'm like, whatever. And what's funny is that so this is another event that Caitlin and Tyler set out, and everybody's like, oh, they're the grandma and grandpa of the group. These people have been together 20 years. When you're together with somebody for 20 years, you're not gonna want to go out and do all this stuff all the time either. These people were tired after day 4.
Yeah. I don't know too, for some reason, I feel like there's more going on with Kate and Tyler than they're showing in this season. Tyler's just starting to look kind of drained a little bit. He just seems off. He definitely is keeping his energy, but it seems like he's trying really hard to
Mhm.
keep his energy up. He's probably just missing his kids and stuff. They've been gone for a long time. I'm starting to wonder how long this season is going. Again, I do like it. It's not the most entertaining thing in the world, but I certainly enjoy the change up from what we've seen with these people before. But they have to have been gone for at least 2 or 3 weeks already.
Yeah, and they have really young kids at home too. So
Mhm.
it's got to be rough. And I don't know, maybe there is stuff going on with their relationship too. We still haven't gotten that clip yet where Tyler freaks out. That's been
Right.
teased. So I
Yeah.
guess we'll see where that goes. But I don't really blame them for not wanting to go out to every single thing. I mean, they're like 40-year-olds trapped in a 30-year-old's body, both of them.
I would be Kate and Ty, definitely, but my fiance wouldn't allow it. Maybe 1 night, but not 2
Yeah.
nights.
They've been parenting everybody, it seems like this whole time that they've been here. They've been the secondary therapists for everybody.
And they're so vulnerable and open. I'm sure they're emotionally exhausted from talking to people and helping people and that stuff triggering
Mhm.
their own stuff and making sure they're doing their own self-care and blah blah blah. It's probably really exhausting for them because they really are kind of they're like the parents of the group. So I feel like anytime anyone goes through anything that has to do with trauma, anything that has to do with parenting stuff, anything that has to do with stuff with their kids, anything that has to do with needing therapy, it's like they're always going to Kate and Ty. And Kate and Ty are so willing and open to do that. I think between that and the workshops and stuff where they're always being picked on first and they need to sort of like perform, I feel like they're just exhausted. Leah and Kaya have like another
Oh, yeah,
very
yeah.
brief interaction, but I mean, that's it. They kind of just interact again. It does seem to sort of like break the ice a little bit more, although I don't think anything productive happened. I just again want to commend their maturity, I suppose,
Mhm.
because I suppose Leah's doing the best she can. I know she's not that bothered, but again, I don't know how much she remembers to actually be bothered by. She
Yeah.
is at least acknowledging something, and Kai is being real mature about it. So I think it's cool that they both had a little chit chat there, but
Yeah.
really they just talked. So
Well, you can commend them, but I'm not gonna commend MTV on this damn editing again. You know what they did? They tried hyping this up, this whole
they
conversation up,
did.
and then they
They
went to
did.
commercial and come back and it's a nothing
Nothing.
burger. A nothing, complete nothing burger. Like, thank you for
Almost
that.
had tea through the nose in that one, Jake Chatter.
So after this party, we go to the real world house that they're in, having a conversation around the round table with Corey and Taylor at the center of it. And they're starting to really pressure Corey about the marriage thing. Taylor's not having it. Taylor is like, I've been with you for 6 years. You know who I am. You know how I am as a wife, as a mother, as finances, as this and as that. I'm like, girl,
She's
don't be
not
sitting here
wrong.
begging a man to marry you.
No, she's not wrong though. I get it, but at the same time, that's not the way you want it done. That's not the way you want it to feel when it happens. You have to have your patience. I do think Brie brought it up because she wasn't part of the original couple sessions that happened, and
Mhm.
this was kind of beaten to death in the beginning a little bit. And I think she was really genuinely asking and just felt tipsy enough to be able to ask that question. I don't think she had any idea. And then Cheyenne starts kind of chiming in. Taylor gets frustrated, obviously, and walks away. But I think she's talking about how she always gets stuck in the position of defending Corey for not being engaged to her, even though she's upset with it too. When she talks
Mhm.
to other people about it, at the end of the day, that's still her man and the family she wants to be with. So she's always going to have to still defend Corey's thoughts, even if she doesn't agree with it. And I'm sure that pisses her off. So she walked away.
I don't blame her. I mean, she's given this man, she has given, and she has given this man. She's
Yeah, we
given
are
him
not
multiple.
talking about what's her name, Stacy from Love is Blind has not given. But this Taylor, she has given.
She's given, she's put up with a lot. I mean, I don't know if when Corey had Ryder, he was with Taylor, but I mean, he's obviously cheated on her at some point in the past. I don't think it was Cheyenne, but you know what I mean? He's had another kid while he knew her, at least. It was kind of back and forth with her. He cheats on her at one point. They have 2 kids together. They've been together solidly for at least 5, 6 years. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't blame her for wanting to take that next step. Taylor isn't out here doing the stuff Corey is out here. She is ready to settle down. She is ready to move on and have her family. They went through so much with that youngest daughter. I think she deserves it. I think that maybe she felt like once things settled down, it was going to happen. And then I feel like Corey keeps putting on excuse after excuse on why it can't happen right now. Oh, we got the
Mhm.
house, we got this kid's medical issues, we got this and that. And it's like, if you truly, truly want to be with somebody, just give her the ring. Like, it doesn't mean you got to get married tomorrow. You could just give her the ring and make her feel more secure. I don't know. I know she wants a marriage and she wants marriage with Corey. And at this point, she seems so fed up to where it's like, if he doesn't do something about this soon, then Taylor's going to be thinking about all of her options because you don't want to
Mhm.
feel like this guy is just like keeping you around until he finds what he wants. Or by the time Corey maybe even decides Taylor's what he wants, it might be too late for her. It seems like something's going on deep with Corey, though. I know Corey mentioned before his reservation about marriage because he didn't have the same experience that Taylor has had, which is valid.
Yeah.
But there does come a point where you have to decide if that's truly what you keep saying that you want is to marry Taylor one day, is to get married one day, then you also need to take steps to make that possible or at least seem like a possibility for this girl who is holding on for dear life. Like she
Totally.
is.
Totally. And
Because
because I watched the next episode and you have not yet heard the recording of this episode, we will learn a little bit more about Corey too. He's going to have an individual session actually. So I guess this goes well into our preview for next. They don't show in the preview if it's him and Taylor or just him, but he ends up going in individually, which I think is really good for him. And then there's a whole bunch of crying that happens in a group session we see in the preview. And then we also see that Brie is going to find herself a papi chulo. This is a good episode coming up.
you know what? I really thought that Mackenzie was going to go back home by now, but it seems like everybody's staying.
Yeah. Well,
So,
she's a couple now, so she's right in it with everybody. And when she got off the stage, Cheyenne actually complimented her and touched
mhm.
her. So I think we're really in a good place when it comes to all of that.
Stay tuned, Chick Chatters. It wasn't a super eventful episode, but a couple of good things happened that are worth mentioning.
Some honorable mentions.
Hopefully, the next episode is a little bit messier.
Yeah, we're
We
gonna
are.
have a papi chulo, that's for sure. See you guys next time.
Hit that like, subscribe, whatever you got to do to keep yourself updated with us. And we'll see you next time, Chick Chat.
Bye bye.